This episode of A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live is brought to you in part by Viewfinder's Identity Search and Design. Your choice for web design, graphic design, and all multimedia development needs. Visit VFISAD.com and let us bring your vision to reality.
Hey, this is Mega Rant, teacher, rapper, hero, waffle lover. And you're checking out A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live. Turn it up and share.
Welcome to the show to give you all the news, views, and opinions in the world of gaming. This is A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live Extras Select Start with your host, Xavier Josiah. Power up and game on.
Welcome back. This is A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live Extra Select Start. I am your host, Xavier Josiah. Folks, this is an absolutely beautiful day today. Not just because of my Mortal Kombat 11 Gauntlet accomplishments, which we'll talk about very shortly, but even bigger than that, much bigger than that, I have to give a big congratulations to one of our A.C.M.G. members. Not just any A.C.M.G. member, but friend, neighbor, incredibly great music producer, and just all out great dude, DJ Cutman, aka Chris Davison of GameCHOPS. He and his longtime girlfriend Maddie Stone, as of today, possibly right now, by the time you listen to this, is probably already said and done. They're getting married today, if not already married right now. Congratulations to them both. I've known them for a very long time now, since ACMG was created, and you know, he was one of my first interviews. After, shout out another neighbor of mine around here, Adam Shue, Pixel Painter. You know, I live around a bunch of very creative and inspiring people in the world of anime, comics, movies, and games. People, I'm completely blessed of that. I've not taken that for granted whatsoever. But I had a chance to interview him a long time ago during his album release. I attended probably one of my first album release parties ever, and that was his album release for a album called Meow Meow and Bow Wow. If you're a Legend of Zelda fan, you know exactly what that is. And it was a remix album, a phenomenal remix album that he created in honor of, I believe, Link to the Past. I forgot which one it was. I believe it was Link to the Past that was based on. I could be wrong, but I still have the lanyard from that event too, but it's awesome. I got a chance to see him perform for the first time, and then I had a chance to interview him shortly after that, and we just, connected after that. Every year afterwards, we started connecting in some form of way. Strangely, he somehow made his way to my neck of the woods. He now lives like a block or two away from me here in University City, which is awesome. And we got more creativity within University City now, so it was pretty awesome. If you guys don't exactly know the name of DJ Cutman, he's very well known in the nerdcore and the gaming community. But the music that you're hearing right now is from him. This is one of my favorite songs, entitled I Am Error, from DJ Cutman's classic album Bagu and the Riverman. Again, if you're a Zelda fan, you know what that is. So I got a chance to play that for a reason, because there will be a lot of changes coming in the weeks ahead. As I told you guys before last week on our last episode, I believe, that I will be having new music played on this show in the coming weeks. There will be more changes for music that are being played. It actually may equate to different segment breaks that I'm going to do for this show, utilizing DJ Cutman's music from GameCHOPS, courtesy of GameCHOPS. So I am alluded to quite a bit of music now, and that means there's going to be a lot of different things. There may be even a new intro, for goodness sake. But just to give you a little synopsis of DJ Cutman, he's a longtime chiptunes DJ, and is, like I said, known in the world of gaming and in the nerdcore community, and mostly for his tributes for some of the most legendary video games of all time, including Super Mario, Zelda, Metroid, Sonic, Pokemon, you name it, and much more. The man has been on the radar for quite some time, and in fact, and I know this for a fact because I was actually listening to this podcast episode when I found out, but if you go back to an early episode of Talk is Jericho, yes, Chris Jericho's podcast, is absolutely phenomenal podcast. He had Xavier Woods on there. And Jericho's all about music as well. He has Fozzy. And, he talks to Xavier Woods, and he's talking about his gaming, his love for gaming, and his love for music. So he asked him what was his music, his favorite song, music that he's listened to. He could have gave anybody a great shout out. And this is when I was working in like a corporate office and, at the Alzheimer's Association. I'm at my desk and I'm working and I'm listening to this. All of a sudden, of all people he brings up, Xavier Woods of the New Day, WWE superstar, says one of my favorite guys that I listen to right now and I recommend that people listen to is DJ Cutman. He's a chiptunes artist. He does real... And at that moment in time, I'm in the office and I'm like, holy freaking shit. It's like, of all people. And I immediately contacted him because I don't think he was aware of it. I don't think, Chris, aka DJ Cutman, I don't think he's a wrestling fan. But he also is aware of, the music that's out there. Xavier Woods is also friends with Mega Rant as well. So there's the 6 degrees of separation, which we all know each other as well. We're all familiar with each other's work and stuff like that. So it's really awesome that I got to hear that and to see how far his passion has gotten him to the ears of one of the premier performers in professional wrestling right now in the WWE. One of the best performers in WWE right now, and that's Xavier Woods. And if you guys know Xavier Woods, he also hosts the show Up, Up, Down, Down as well. And it's just pretty awesome to see that they were, connected. And I believe they might have actually done something together, a project or something as well. But I mean, that's how far he's gotten. He's been endorsed by, Xavier Woods. That's awesome. You will absolutely be hearing more music from GameChops in the coming weeks. There's a lot going to be happening here. I love it. This opportunity is going to grant me to be able to be more creative with the show and do some other cool things with the show because I have now other, music relatable music at that. Some of this music you're going to be familiar with from some of your favorite games. So get ready for that as well. Stay tuned for that and more. But also, if you want to check out more music from DJ Cutman, you can check it out on Apple Music and the iTunes Store, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Google Play. You will also be able to follow him on YouTube, Facebook, SoundCloud, and Twitter, of course. So thank you again, and congratulations to you both, Chris and Maddie. You guys I can't be more happier for you guys at all. Bless you all, and I will definitely be seeing you guys soon on that note. So today, we got some things to talk about. I actually also... Believe it or not, we're going to change. I got a couple recommended reviews that I want to, just really quickly recommend to people. But also, I have a rant. I actually have a rant today. But we're going to start with some interesting good news. It's going to actually segue to that. As of right now, I am in stage 28 of Mortal Kombat 11's The Gauntlet. There are few people that have actually made it this far. There are some people who made it to Fire God status, and I am so freaking close to it. I can just taste it. But that taste was not always sweet. It was bitter along the way. Let me tell you, folks, these stages are some of the most brutal stages of any fighting game I've ever played. But for some reason, there's a great incentive to why I'm still playing. I really do want that freaking Fire God, skin. Unfortunately, it's a skin, it's a skin, but you also do have the other power. So it's technically not really a skin per se, but you do get the extra powers with that. So, if you've played Mortal Kombat 11 in story mode, you know where this is going to and where it's going to happen with Liu Kang. He becomes a god. So, no spoiler alert. This has been out for weeks ahead, and I've already done my non-spoiler episode a while back, so this is free reign at this point. But Liu Kang does in fact become a god, but they eventually give you the opportunity to have this character, but you got to go through 30 brutal stages of the Gauntlet in Tower of Time mode. I through no easy stretch, and there was a lot of bitching and moaning along the way, that I made it up to level 28. And it wasn't easy, not just because of just how challenging it was. But what they did at NetherRealm Studios is that they allowed you to get through all of these stages, but you had to figure out how to do it. They pretty much forced you to use consumables, which is the upgrades that help you get through some stages, and which is kind of awesome in a sense. But it to me it felt like a tomb raiding type of experience, or a dungeon dwelling type of experience, where you have to have certain means to get through, and there are a lot of clues to what you need to do in order to get through some of the stages. It's not all easy. It's all, even if it says easy on one of the stages, on a few of the stages, it's not exactly easy until you figure out why it's so easy and what you got to do to make it as easy as possible. So there is some brutal, absolutely mind-effing stages in this game. But with that said, for some reason, it's so fun to play. You just keep going. I would compare this to like Mother Brain. If you guys played the original Metroids back in the day, playing that Mother Brain stage is crazy. And so at the time is one of the biggest, maybe still one of the biggest and most challenging moments in games I've ever played, where after I played, all my energy just depleted and I fell to the ground because of how much it's getting to that level. What's keeping me going is one reason. Not only just because I beat that Metroid Mother Brain stage at the end, legit. Like, I completed the whole entire thing. It was not easy at all. But I also beat one of the most impossible games ever, which not many people can claim that they did, and that's Street Fighter. The original Street Fighter, not Street Fighter 2. I mean, Street Fighter 1 was Sagat. I was able to beat that game, and to me, it's like, if I could go and beat that game, I could get through anything at this point in life. So I am stretching through. I'm now at stage 28. I'm very happy about that, but it was not easy. I had to go through, admittedly, I had to go through a lot of research on what I need to do. And this is the part that really is going to transition and segue to the rant, is because upon finding things, I mean, I know it takes time for some things to get out, but some of the things that I were looking for, some of the content I was looking for, mostly it was going to be YouTube clips, which can be very helpful actually, if produced properly, if really done professionally. And if you go to places like IGN and, GameSpot, and, what is it? What's the other one I could say? Game Informer, if you will. But then also some other really great independently made videos out there. There could be some really good professionally done videos with people who understand how to do producing and editing and proper dubbing, and, it can be done properly. But then, and those guys, to those who do that in that way, deserves all the attention that they get, the sponsorship that they get. They're also freaking annoying people who do live streaming, and then what they do is manipulate them streaming by saying, going through the gauntlet stages or saying how to get through the gauntlet stages. So you look at this, it's like 4 hours long. It's like 4 or 5 hours, a marathon, and some of it is just like not what it was said to be, and it's badly produced, or these guys don't know what the hell they're doing, but they're getting all this attention and all these and sponsorship from YouTube. And I'm like, this to me, no, why are they getting, YouTube should have a little bit more stricter terms as to how these people are getting the attention that they get. I don't think everybody deserves the attention that they get. And one in particular, I won't even name, but he actually I had to fast forward so much crap, all this conversation, all this irrelevant conversation, all of this trial and error and all this stuff. I'm thinking, if you play this game, who the hell is watching for 4 hours? Usually people with the short attention society that we live in, all we need is like a 5-minute tutorial with you editing, dubbing, and giving us a summarized understanding of what we had to do. Not sit through all these hours of you watch. No, I don't care if you have 100,000. I don't care if you have 1,000, 5,000, or even 1 million views. Because here's the reality of that. Your views, all you do is click. All you need to do is click. You don't have to watch through the whole thing. You just click. You click on that link, it automatically does it. It doesn't determine whether you actually did it, but he or she can get the actual views and clicks, and when YouTube sees that, they automatically like, all right, bet you're getting all this attention. Boom, we're gonna actually do it. And I know some people do actually sit through it, and I don't understand how they sit through all that. To me, it's like, all right, you want a game for hours, but you also want to watch this for hours too. You could be doing all that. You could be gaming your damn self, or you could have a social life, or you could do other things. There should be better ways for people to produce. I love those people who produce. I'm going to give a few shout outs to people who produce really well as well, both independent and professional. You know, I really think, but there were some things that really, this is like you know what really grinds my gears moment. So take that into consideration, people. But we had this going on. So I'm watching this and I am so pissed off. I would love to see better quality videos out there. And I know there's some out there, but it's not enough. It is not enough. There's some amateur Bush League stuff in there. This is like Pornhub amateur level type stuff here, where, you know, it's like you got the amateur stuff, you got the professional stuff, you got, you know, it's really that bad. It is really bad. By the way, don't act like you don't either. So let's keep it real. Let's keep it really real here. But no, honestly, there's some really amateuristic stuff out there. I think if people really put in the quality of what they add on to this, the producing, the edit. There's a lot of hardworking people out there who go out of their way to produce really quality stuff, myself included. I feel like if I need to give you guys their money's worth here. Whether it's from audio, whether it's from video, whether it's just from doing graphics, whether it's producing, whether it's just creating content for, you know, social media. You got the whole brand thing. You got to understand what really goes into making a brand. And getting cheap attention like that, to me, pisses me off. I mean, the lack of production quality, it really annoys me. It really annoys. I get inspired by great production quality. I love that. The lack of charisma and hosting ability also plays a factor in some of these videos as well. Some of these guys don't know how to really entertain the watchers, the target audience that they have out there. That part to me pisses me off as well. If you're listening to this and you're wanting to do an actual video or podcast, whatever, listen to this. What I believe the target audience should look for and should appreciate and should want is people with better production, better charisma, going in, you know, knowing how to talk to the audience, knowing how to relate to the audience, to understand your target audience, what you're listening to. That is the point of branding. As somebody who is involved in multimedia development, which also helps to create brands for other people, companies, or whatever, both in entertainment and business, I have a say-so in this. You know, if you don't understand, go to my website at my Viewfinder's identity search and design website at vfisad.com. You'll look at the list of people that I work with, both in the city and far and wide, and some people you may recognize. And guaranteed, you'll know that I know what I'm talking about there. So, you know, that, and it's just the lack of editing, too. Again, that pisses me off. People who just... Playing hours of streaming is one thing, but man, go back in there. If you really figure out, especially if you're streaming, here's the deal. If you're streaming just to stream and have people follow you that way, like if you're a huge celebrity too, I'll give you a big example. Mighty Mouse, Demetrius Johnson, former UFC champion. He's no longer with the UFC, but the dude he was unbeatable, unstoppable. He's one of the greatest of all time. And he's also one of the best known gamers. He was sponsored by Xbox because of that. And he would stream a lot all the time. But he would stream and really communicate with his fans. And I don't believe people know how to do it in the way that he's doing. He would read off people's comments, questions, whatever like that. I've seen some, especially recently for Mortal Kombat 11, where people are just talking and they're just talking and they're just talking and they're talking to other people. They got their headsets on. They're talking to other people. We don't know who the hell they're talking to. We don't know what the question is, whatever like that. You know, learn how to entertain when you're on, screen, when you're absolutely on screen. So to me, that is, there's a lot of fundamentals that needs to go in there. when you're done, here's the other thing too. It's one thing to stream, but it's another thing to like say that this is a tutorial or walkthrough, and it's just you just playing through the game through hours and hours of play without saying. Once you understand what you're doing, edit that. You don't need to have this. Nobody wants to really go stretch out and watch hours, or fast forward to get to the part that you want to. Edit that. Edit it. Dub it. If you really want to really stretch it and people take you really seriously, put some quality and effort into it. Invest in what you're doing. Give people reasons to want to come back. Even more. Don't just settle for what you have now. And learn how to increase what you've already gained. Include the momentum. Bring in the momentum of it and increase that momentum. From that point. I hate a lot of clickbait videos too that says one thing but does totally different. I don't want to know what people get out of that, but they're wasting their own time. The ones who talk about to other people online without letting us know who the hell they are. I hate that. One of our members on A.C.M.G, Bo Brulette, he mentioned, he was very adamant about this when I posted this on Facebook a couple of days ago, on our A.C.M.G Facebook group a couple of days ago. He immediately understood, he empathized and was adamant about that, and mentioning those who tell irrelevant life stories on a video that is supposed to discuss the game. I totally agree. Keep the irrelevant stuff out of there. Like, we're the purpose of everybody coming in to watch a video of something that they're interested in, or even something that they're looking for help in, is that they're looking for you to talk solely about the nature of the continuity that you're talking about. We don't have to know that, you went to, Whole Foods the other day and all this stuff and yada, yada, yada. And that's why I couldn't come on the show, or, I had to go on vacation, or there was, that's, it's as important as it may be, especially to the person who's producing the video. It's irrelevant. That's not a part of the life that we want to know. We clearly are, interested in the continuity that you're talking about. So again, just stick to the script, if you will, and just jump on that. It's one thing to do a podcast, because a podcast you can be a little bit more freely with. There, if you're not going the narrative direction and doing a lot of narrative editing and all this stuff, that's one thing. But if you're, like I'm doing right now, ranting like crazy, but also I'm sticking to the continuity of the situation. And everything that I mostly talk about is relevant to what I am talking about on the show. For the majority of the part, actually. I don't think I've ever had that type of situation. But again, I'm not giving people tutorials either. So, you got to take that into consideration as well. So, I mean, it's really, these things are really annoying. And, it's just, the last thing that is going to piss me off before I talk about what I would like to see in these videos is that these tedious trial and error videos, it's like, don't say that this is how you do it. And you're giving us long playthrough of you doing this, but given a lot of trial and error to do it. Like, once you get it, once you actually play the game and you stream through it and you actually made it, how about edit that video? Dumb it down, and then write lines that you need to do, write some lines to do, and then actually produce a good quality. I used to do this all the time back in when I first started when doing video. Video is hard. Video is really, like, video editing. It's not hard in a way of saying it's impossible to do. It is. There's a lot of work that needs to go into it. Like, a 5-minute video, and this is probably why a lot of these guys are lazy and don't want to do it, because it does. A 5-minute video can take sometimes hours to produce, but it's worth it because you create some really cool stuff. You look back at it. I created some video reviews back in the day, like years ago, and sometimes, I used to do 22-minute video vlogs for the A.C.M.G Facebook group. I may go back to that someday. I'm not sure, but I did have a lot of fun doing that at the time. It's just, it does take hours to put together because there's a lot of editing. Sometimes there's a lot of graphics that go onto it. You know, if you've seen, if any of you guys, this has been a long time ago, but if any of you veterans that may be listening right now that have seen the videos that I've done, you know, I have a lot of graphics in there. There's, you know, some editing in there and some dubbing in there as well. So there's a lot to it, but if you're really serious about what you're doing, don't half-ass it. Go all the way. If you want to give a review, the review should probably be like less than 5 minutes at best. Write the lines down. There are people out there that are really doing their thing. So honestly, what I would like to see for a lot of people is that, you know, edit your videos. Practice doing lines when creating your video walkthroughs. Just stick to what's relevant in the video. Keep it short as possible. Pretty much it. I mean, those are pretty much the fundamentals of that at best. And try to have the best equipment to make all of that happen. Your best sound equipment, your best, you know, have the best microphones as possible. Invest in your brand and your product if you really want to make this happen. You know, if you really want to ever be making it to the IGNs or the GameSpots, or, you know, really show that you really put in the, you know, the work. I mean, there are people out there that are really doing it, and deservingly so. Honestly, if I want to give some recommendations, I'm going to say Switch Planet. Go on YouTube and check it out if you're a Nintendo Switch owner. Switch Planet is a really well done video. They have their own music, they have their own effects, intro, all that. Now, funny thing is that recently YouTube stopped giving them sponsorship for a hot second because they felt that they were just, you know, editing, they weren't doing enough. And to the guy's credit, the guy and creator of Switch Planet, I don't know who that guy is, but to his credit, or whatever, or he claims his team's credit, they have done everything that they could, because they were going to do Patreon, but they decided to add a little bit more to it. So they started dubbing the episodes now. He has to now, just to make the qualifications or the requirements that YouTube wants to do in order to get sponsorship for their videos. So what Switch Planet is that it gives information on new releases that are coming out every month. There's a new episode that comes in Sunday every week on Switch Planet that shows different video games, rather from America or US or Europe or whatever. And they provide a lot of information in the video that goes into, trust me when I tell you that it's like, they're like 14-minute videos. So guaranteed it's taking them hours within the week to put all this together. So you got to appreciate and support what those guys are doing. I highly recommend checking those out. But, you know, at the time they was just showing the video games with the information. Now they added dubbing to it, and which gives their own spin on it now. And it's getting better, because you could tell at first that the guy he was never a guy who ever dubbed before, but I think he's getting better every week and he's getting more comfortable with it. But he's putting in the work because he wants that sponsorship. He wants to continue the views that he's gotten, and kudos to them. Kudos to rather him or his team if he has it. But they've done tremendously there. I absolutely love what they've done there. So I highly recommend checking out, you know, Switch Planet. And the theme music is really cool and catchy too, by the way. So I love it. It's awesome. Another guy, not related to video games, but this is one of the best quality voices I've heard on any narrative, on any voiceover on YouTube. And this is Rob Jefferson. You guys may have recognized that name. He does Comics Explained. He produces all of these historical comic books. This is the Neil deGrasse Tyson of video games. Of comic books. His voice he reminds me of Neil deGrasse Tyson a lot. And he's very articulate. Extremely articulate on the videos that he creates, and they're extremely well edited, well dubbed, and it explains the history of certain comic books and certain events in comic book history, you know, and very accurately, very well detailed. I mean, this dude is awesome. And if you look at how he does it, he goes all out to bring the best production, and he deserves everything he gets from that. It's just awesome. He also has his own vlog too. He talks about World War II. He doesn't just do comic books either. But the gist of this is that his production value is insanely great, and he puts in all of effort and quality to put it in. So I highly recommend that. Also, of course, if you want to go professional, IGN always does some great stuff. Yeah, I mean, now granted, there's always some questionable things about some of their reviews or whatever. But if you take away that aspect and the skepticism, what you see is well edited, well produced videos that are like about 3 to 5 minutes long. They write their lines really well, and you can't get any better than that. GameSpot also, you got to give them credit. Entertainment Weekly is another one. Game Informer, also another one. You know, look at those. Those are how you create really good videos. And honestly, with technology and the ability to get all this type of technology today, you can do it if you learn how to do it. Whether you find out from school, you get taught by somebody else, or you learn you just study. You study some form of way of how to learn how to get to that level. You can do it. You can absolutely do it. But I hate these other tutorials out here right now. I hate this laziness that I'm seeing. Put in the effort, people. It just boggles my mind with that. Now, the other question from this too, should we go back to strategy, guys? I know a lot of you millennials out there don't know what that is. Strategy guides were booklets or, books, or sometimes in game magazines based on video games with very detailed, well-written tutorials of how to get through certain games. In the 90s, they were some of the hottest items, and they somehow fell off, and I think a lot of that was just based on cost. It was very cost effective to be able to produce all of those magazines and to sell them. But they were some of the most, I wish they had one for Mortal Kombat 11 right now, because they would have been very useful at this point in time. But sometimes video game companies will, come out with the strategy guides like a couple weeks after the fact of playing the game. So by the time when people had struggles, the strategy guides will come out and people would go out of their way to buy it, because they would have a lot of secrets in there, maybe some hidden secrets, some unlockable, codes or whatever in there. But they were awesome. The other thing that made them so great too is that a lot of these games, a lot of these strategy guys had a lot of great illustrations from the video games. Like if I think back, Soulcalibur, Street Fighter, Ninja Gaiden was another one, Tomb Raider. I had a bunch. Funny thing, I still have some of my strategy guides. Tekken, I believe I still have my Tekken 3 strategy guide, and they were sometimes limited edition, strategy guides too. But they would show you how to do extra combos and all this stuff. Now, granted, this is where YouTube, I think for fighting games, YouTube is best. But when you have games that require some know-how or some extra situations or whatever, I honestly, I would say strategy guys still has a niche for the day. I still believe that there's some value to a strategy guide on certain game genres. So I would love to see that come back, just for the collectability of the books and stuff like that. I mean, like, we need to bring that back. It was hot at a time where also comic books was also hot too, and those will no longer exist as well. So I mean, I don't know if it would be more cost effective. Maybe they could do a website dedicated to doing a strategy guide or strategy guide website. I would love to see that, or something of that nature. But I would love to see strategy guides in some form or fashion come back that will help people really, especially when you're playing something as frustratingly brutal at times as the Gauntlet. I would love to see that, that type of thing for fighting games like Mortal Kombat, or just video games in general, So hopefully they'll make a comeback in some form or fashion. That would be like a hot commodity in video games. We'll see. So that is my rant for the day on that note. So hopefully if you have a video game vlog and you have, following like that, please listen to that dearly. Put in the work. If you don't settle for what you got, always learn to improve and evolve more. So I'll just stick to that. So moving on to some other news, Nintendo Switch news. If you guys have gone into your Nintendo eShop recently, if you go into the coming soon section and scroll down furthermore, you see that Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 and Platinum Games up and coming action game Astral Chains, I'm so looking forward to that, is showing up and the coming soon section right now. The problem that I have with this is that none of them are available for pre-purchase. I have no idea why that's not a thing. They got Mario Maker 2 out for pre-purchase, along with some other ones out for pre-purchase. Just recently, Dragon Quest Builders 2 is now on, has a season pass and all the stuff for available pre-purchase. That boggles my mind. I'm so I want to lock that in right now. It's funny because Ultimate Alliance 3 is probably even more anticipated right now than Mario Maker 2. And that is, and honestly, I know the decision is not Nintendo's. It's the decision of the company that's coming out with it. I don't understand why they're not doing a pre-purchase, because I think they would lock in a lot of sales right now. More for Ultimate Alliance 3 than Astral Chains. I think people are still not aware of Astral Chains. That was something that premiered, I believe, last year on the Nintendo Showcase at E3. So I don't know if people remember, or it's like out of sight, out of mind. They haven't really showed too much on Astral Chains yet, but I'm much anticipating that, as well as Ultimate Alliance 3, so we will see. But yeah, again, no ability to pre-purchase right now, and both of them will be, I believe Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 will be out in July, and Astral Chains will be available in August, so definitely stay tuned for that. But they are showing up right now, so hopefully down the line they'll check it out. So last bit of things I wanted to bring up. Oh, by the way, we are getting closer to E3, by the way. They are showing games that are available online right now. Games from Nintendo, from Sega. I mean, not from Sega, from Xbox. But unfortunately, as we all know, PlayStation is not going to show up at E3. It's going to be very interesting to see how this E3 is going to be, man. I'm really skeptical, because Sony has been the major marquee of E3. Now it's going to be a battle between Nintendo and Xbox. So now, with them going, it gives one of the two free reign to take the throne. My prediction is Nintendo's going to take the throne for E3 now this year. I don't see anything else coming at it. I don't see anything coming else at it at all. I don't. So we'll see how E3 is going to be as well. I'm looking forward to it. But there's some known games that are going to be displayed at E3, so we'll see. And as far as new announcements, nothing has occurred yet. Otherwise, I would have mentioned it right now. So now, as I'm saying this, watch as I finish this episode, something's going to pop up. It always happens. So last bit of things I wanted to talk about is my recommended reviews this week. And one of them is Code of Princess EX. Has been out for quite a while. So if you guys, and I'm saying recommended reviews because this is games that I say are absolutely fun to actually have. I'm going to do probably some recommended reviews along with some exclusive reviews in the coming weeks. So I have a large library of Nintendo games on the Switch right now that I play. But I'd never mentioned before. But Code of Princess EX, a game that was out, I believe, on a 3DS era. This is kind of a throwback game, taking shades of a classic Sega Saturn game called Guardian Heroes. If you guys remember that from back then, you know that was one of the most beloved cult classic games out there. It's still, up until Code of Princess and a few other, shadow games, mimic games like that, or mirror games that are like that. It was a game that there was no other game like it. A company named Treasure. One of my favorite cult game companies ever at the time, because not only did they create Guardian Heroes, if you guys were major Japan game owners as well, they also created a game called Yu Yu Hakusho based on one of the greatest animes of all time. And this was a 4-player fighting game that was only played in Japan. So you needed the actual emulator cartridge in order to play this game. And once you had that cartridge, this game was so much fun. I love the Yu Yu Hakusho fighting game from back in the day. It was awesome. But it was made by the company Treasure. I became a fan of Treasure because of what they did with that game. And then I believe Guardian Heroes came shortly after. Guardian Heroes was like a RPG beat-em-up game, and allows you to not only play as the actual characters of that game, but also it allowed you to play as many other characters too, because there were other modes that allowed you to fight as those characters as well. So part of it was actual fighting game too, or a melee game at that. It's more a melee. I would say it's more of a melee game. That it's an RPG melee brawler at best, because the control schemes of it allowed you, to do moves sort of similar to Street Fighter and other fighting games as well. So Code of Princess is in that essence right there. Almost the same type of premise and everything. You're a princess, you're like Princess Solange, and you are trying to gain back the throne. I am not doing the storyline justice, but it's really like just a simple storyline. But along the way, you meet all these different, people that you become allies that will help you fight against the evil, enemy that tries to take your throne. She also has this sacred sword, which is like a really big ass sword. And take note, Princess Solange is literally, her outfit is like extremely like it's Cardi B level. In this case, like, this is a Cardi B level outfit that she is wearing, and she's fighting with this big ass sword. And so she has all these really cool characters. By the way, Solange and a lot of the other characters in this game is also seen in the fighting game Blade Strangers, if you guys have played that as well, which consists of a bunch of different characters from Inti Creates. Shout out to you, Matt Papa out there. And this is also another Inti Creates game, I believe, if I'm correct. So, the action brawler, it lets you play in the hordes of cool characters and the story, including enemies too. Like, once you beat a stage, it unlocks a new character that you can control and fight as well. And there's a lot of RPG elements as well in here. So if you are into the brawler type of game like this, or if you are an old school gamer like me and play Guardian Heroes and you want that Guardian Heroes kick, this one has what you need. This is actually, not only that, this is actually a remake from the 3DS version as well. So there's a lot of extra things in here. And of course, because it's on the Switch, you'll get a lot more content than you had before in here. So go out of your way to check it out. And I believe it's on sale on the eShop. It possibly is, but even if not, it's still a great game to have for, old school gamers. Another old school game I want to bring up, because I brought this up last week too, Capcom's Beat 'em Up Bundle. This is a brawler theme at this point. I mentioned this last week. This allows you to freely play 9 Capcom beat 'em up brawlers from the arcade to the SNES era. That is including Captain Commando, that really classic game that everybody loves. That was on the Super NES. Final Fight, of course, it has to be in there. Some other really cool games in there that are in there as well. I haven't even played through all of them yet, but I can tell you this. What I love about this game is that this is all about having fun. This is not about wrecking your brain. You could play with infinite lives and play through the game. This is just a celebration of all of those games that came out before. So I loved what they did. They also have, like they did with the 30th anniversary of Street Fighter and Mega Man and all that stuff, they have a gallery in there with illustrations of all of this stuff that you were able to check out back then. Just Capcom, if not for anything, should be known for their artistic value. They were all about art and illustration and had some phenomenal artists in their repertoire in their company, and that's one of the things that made video games so great back then, because Capcom made video games, not just video games, but they were art. They had 8-bit games that can be considered Paleolithic at the time, but also, with that said, their artwork, Aki-Man, it's one of the best artists, video game illustrators out there of all time. Just so many more out there, but most of them came from Capcom as well. So, go out of your way to check that out. I believe that one is still on sale right now. I think I got it for like $11.99 in there. So go out of your way to check it out before that sale's over, if it's not already. But it's worth getting as well. And the one I mentioned last time, go get the original Ninja Gaiden. If you're a Ninja Gaiden fan, go get the original Ninja Gaiden arcade game. It is absolutely phenomenal. It's very simplistic considering from today's standards, especially if you play Ninja Gaiden, the recent Ninja Gaiden games that have been out. But it is absolutely a great memory. If not for anything, it's a great memory to have. But if you played it in arcades back in the day and it was just, sponging quarters to the wazoo trying to get to this game and never got it, now's your chance. Retribution is here. You can play this game as much as possible. You can save at the area that you're at and come back to it at any time. But you can finally beat the original Ninja Gaiden arcade game. this is a better chance of you actually playing and beating the NES version of the Ninja Gaiden game. You could beat the original game, so go out of your way to get that as well. I believe I got it for $7.99. It's one of the arcade archive games as well. You can't go wrong. And if not for anything, just for collector's value, that you have that in your possession. Awesome. Folks, that will do it for this very special edition of A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live Extra Select Start. Thank you guys so very much. I did get to see John Wick 3 this week, so I will be talking about that on Sunday's show. Probably will be the last show before I believe that's Memorial Day, if I'm correct. Hold on for 1 second. Echo, when is Memorial Day? Oh. Okay, enough said. My Alexa, which I cannot call her, I can now call her Alexa now because I changed it to say another name, which I will not name right now. But after hearing Alexa in the actual commercials and all the time, if I say it, because I have it in my office here, if I say it right here, it'll go off. But now I didn't know I could change the name of the to wake it up, but now I can. So, but. Did inform me that Memorial Day is on Monday, so I will have a show this week. I'll talk about John Wick and maybe some other things that is coming that's happening this week. So we'll talk about that and much, much more. Again, thank you guys for the big support. Please follow me on Talk Time Live. Follow the show and keep up with the show on TalkTimeLive.com. Check out all the interviews on that website as well on an exclusive page, or go to TalkTimeLive.com/exclusive. You can also check us out on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Podbean, and there are other places you can find it too. I just don't know. There's some places that I didn't upload it that I've come to find it at as well. You can check it out there. YouTube, I believe it plays as well on Dax J. Martin Cheeves. I still haven't changed that name yet, but you can check it out on there as well. But also, you can follow me on Instagram at Dexavier Josiah. So you can definitely check us out all over the place and keep up with everything that's going on in my world as well. Again, thank you to DJ Cutman, and congratulations to him and Maddie on getting married today. It's awesome. Go out of your way to check out GameChops. You'll be hearing much more music in the coming weeks, and some changes coming in the weeks as well. So stay tuned for all that and much, much more. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of myself, this is Dak Xavier Josiah saying, learn to let go, live life, and love all things anime, comics, movies, and games. This is A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live. We are out of here. Take care and talk to you Sunday.